yet completely to be persuaded. Now, of course, people in England may have a view on this, but they don't have a vote. Ed Thomas is in York for us. Ed.
Yes, and in one sense you could say we're in the middle of Middle England. We're in the ancient city of York. As you can tell, the cathedral here, York Minster, towers over us, and this is a symbol of the power that this city once had. And as this debate goes on north of the border, there's calls for power to turn to the regions once again. James Alexander, you're the Labour leader of York Council, also part of the devolution movement in Yorkshire. Are you seizing upon this vote north of the border as an opportunity to shout about your region?
We are. Yorkshire and Humber has a population the equivalent of Scotland, an economy double the size of Wales, yet the powers of neither. And whatever happens in the Scottish referendum, whether it's a yes vote or a no vote, people are saying in this locality, what about the north of England and what about Yorkshire and the Humber? And we believe that if we had fair resources and fair powers, we can actually be better determinants of our own future rather than Whitehall and London.
Is this based on a belief that England doesn't get a fair deal when you compare it to places like Scotland?
Well, to be fair, I've had described to me recently England as the last bastion of the British Empire ruled from London. It is really silly in some ways that the diktats we get from government ministers about what we can do and what we can't do. In no other country in Europe does that happen. And yet at the same time, people just want good quality services, they want to know their money's being spent wisely, and they want to be able to determine their own future. And we know when decisions are taken closer to the people, it saves money and you spend money in the right way.
You talk about decisions and having one hand tied behind your back, but unemployment is lower here, lower than national average. We've just seen the Tour de France go through Yorkshire. Why would you need another layer of government?
The Tour de France was a fantastic example of different councils, different political parties working together in the best interests of the region. And that is the example that we need for bigger infrastructure projects and for different areas across Yorkshire and Humber. And unemployment is very low in York, and I think the council working in partnership with businesses has really helped that, but we have helped make those decisions and used our resources accordingly. Imagine if we could do that across a wider area in Yorkshire and Humber and what that could mean for unemployment in this area.
If you look internationally though, the argument against breakup, against maybe more devolution to the regions is that the United Kingdom is stronger united, especially when you look abroad.
I personally think it's stronger united, and I hope therefore Scotland doesn't choose to be independent, but there has been a democratic deficit since the devolution was brought in after 97 over what happens in the other areas of England, and that has to be addressed. The devolution movement that started way back has not been complete, and we want to make sure that people here have a say over their future.
OK, James Alexander, leader of York Council, thank you so much for joining us today. So as this debate goes on north of the border on Scottish independence, questions too about England's role in the Union.
Ed, thanks very much. Ed Thomas in York. And as Ed has rightly said, this affects every part of the United Kingdom, although the decision is in the hands of Scotland's voters. And many of them may make up their minds after listening to what the two participants have to say tonight. You can join us from 7:30 here on the BBC News channel for full coverage of the debate.